today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're taking a look at the Lightspeed Organic Overdrive from Greer Amps. Before we get started, we'd like to ask you to subscribe to this channel to help us continue to bring great gear and talk to interesting people like Nick, which the Beard's going to tell you because the Beard has spent quite a bit of time talking to Nick.
I don't know if I'd say quite a bit, but we...
Compared to me, a lot.
We talk. I feel like we have 4 pedals.
Yep.
We never had a Greer Amps pedal on the channel. Neither one of us had played one until this. So we started the Electro series. We bought used on the used market because it's not made anymore, this pedal. That led us to talking to Nick a little bit. We found out in its Electro series, the Black Fuzz. He built us this one and sent it over for that series. And then we were like, well, let's add a couple other. So on every episode of that series, we used the Tomahawk Deluxe Drive. Mm-hmm. We have an episode on that. And we used the Lightspeed. And so we keep joking all Greer all the time with some of these episodes, right? There's a lot of pedals.
And finally, one of his most popular pedals is going to be the star of the show and not share the spotlight.
Right. So for every one of those Electro Series pedals, they were there, but we never really talked about them. So we wanted to take a moment and just like, let's grab a bunch of different guitars.
Right.
And just dial in some stuff and see how it sounds. We know it sounds great. Like I said, I don't know, it's like 10, 15 episodes it's on. We've used it on. It sounds great. Everything we plug it into. One of the things I'm going to say right off the bat, we didn't pair it with anything for this episode.
Right.
But we paired it with a lot of different pedals prior to this, and it always sounds great.
And to that point, every time it was paired with something, it was first in the drive chain and basically untouched. So now we get to twist some knobs, and we get to see. The only one we really messed with for the most is just the drive.
Right.
We adjusted the drive to taste for guitars. And so we started kind of low to high drive, if you will. So for my low drive offering, I got the Tagima TW61 with the soap bars and kind of a light gain. I think it said like 11, and this is what it sounded like.
So as you can see in that clip of Pat with the Tagima, one of the things that this pedal is known for is its ability to be kind of buzzword time, right? Transparent, organic, right? So it doesn't really change the sound of your signal, but it just adds a little bit.
Right.
And I think in that clip you did with the Tagima,
easy for you to say.
You could really see that. Same thing with the Strat. So the first clip I did with Strat, I think again it was probably gain about 11 o'clock. Did some octave things, sold from like I think it was Jimmy Smith, and it sounds like this.
So that was the Beard playing a Strat, playing a little different style than maybe you're used to hearing on the channel. We wanted to show the diversity of the sound and the pickups. So I moved on to a trusty moldy oldie, if you will, for us, the Rivolta Mondata VIII. I had it on all pickups, like I said, because I can. And because this is an organic overdrive, but they say it's a light to medium drive. So as we were switching guitars, we're taking the drive and bumping it up. So I bumped this up to 2, and every pass we tried to play the unaffected pass of what we're playing and then turning on the light speed. So you hear the difference it makes, and with a little bit more gain.
A little bit more. effects pass, I kind of left it, if I remember correctly, left it where you had it, but you'll be able to tell from the video when the pedal pops up if it got changed a little bit. And, you know, we're just sitting around, staring around at the room, and we're looking at guitars, and I'm like, you know, we haven't played the Supro in a while, and that has these gold foil, single coil pickups in it. Let's do that. And trying to find something that I could play up on the wall is the Harrington Burst, which we haven't introduced to yet. But Gary Harrington was an old friend who passed away recently, and he used to always play this old Junior Wells Buddy Guy thing. And so I was like, So here it is.
So moving on, turning the, I believe it's called the drive knob on this pedal, all the way to 10. I went with the Harley Benton single pickup, everything wide open. Because if you're going to make the pedal wide open, guitar wide open, one pickup, maximum gain for that guitar, this pedal sounded like this.
Say what you want about the Harley Benton, but I like that guitar.
It's really easy to play. The neck profile, it
was a fun way to get into a junior style guitar without forking over a lot of money.
Right.
Anyway, speaking of cheap guitars. So Pat did too. The story goes, you did two P90s. Now then you're like, oh, I thought about doing the Gretsch and I forgot whatever. And then I got in my brain, I was going to do the PRS with humbuckers, and you said about the Gretsch. And so I ended up pulling down the Gretsch to finish it off. Look at, it's so beautiful, but it's so cheap. It's an old, what is it, Synchromatic. Anyway, started playing around with it back in the day when I was playing in kind of a blues bass jam band. We did some slide tunes. This was a $150 slide guitar that would go to those gigs. So I'm like, hey, great idea. Let's pull the slide out. Boy, it's been a long time. That's all I'm gonna say. You wouldn't believe how long it took to record this next clip. Gain all the way up and then pulled back a little bit to get rid of some of the
overtones. The unwanted overtones, probably.
Yeah,
well, slides are inherently noisy, so just to take away that high top end off, because that guitar,
microphonic,
they wanted the feedback.
Yeah. So here you go. So Lightspeed, transparent, light, organic to medium gain kind of pedal. We hopefully kind of demonstrated that. I think there's things we missed. Probably. You know, like, I mean, you can only fit so much into a video. Pat just said, kind of in between there, he was like, well, you know, I think we just turned the pedal on and cranked.
Yeah, as soon as we hit the on button, we just hit it as hard as we could, just to kind of, I think, to show, like, wow, it's got some juice to it if you want to.
But so then the thing we miss is, like, I think one of the places it really does shine is that kind of, like, real light. Like, you can pick real light and clean it up. You can dig in and get a little more bark out of it and things like that. So we might have missed that, although I think we've shown that we've seen that in some of the other videos we've done that it's been in. We might have missed the fact that you can run at 9 volts or 18 volts. So we only did 9 volts tonight. I know the Tomahawk, we ran at both, but we just stuck with 9 volts tonight.
We didn't go full humbucker volume knob to see what it does. We didn't really touch the frequency or the overall loudness output. We kind of left those alone. So there was even more diversity in that pedal than
I think I maybe touched the loudness once or twice, but yeah, I mean,
we didn't do the typical, here's the whole range, here's the whole range. No. We tried to dial it up with different guitars, different pickups, some sound that kind of inspired us to play, and then we just hit it.
So really, we just wanted to plug the pedal in and play a bunch of guitars through it and bring you along for the ride.
Because to be quite honest with you, we kept putting this pedal off because it is such a popular pedal, and it is kind of got its own mystique, and it is like a legend of itself. And we're like, can we do this justice? And we're like, well, why don't we just plug it in and play a bunch of different guitars and dial it in the way we would use it? Why try to be the Bible for the Lightspeed? Let's just play it.
Other people have done it.
Right.
So hopefully if you're looking at this and you're thinking about it, a couple takeaways. Sounds good with a bunch of different pickups. If you want the transparent thing, buzzword that it is. But if you want that, it's really good at that. If you want to have that medium gain, it's really good at that. It's...
Just buy it.
Put it this way. Well, and we don't do that.
No, but just buy it. Don't matter what we did. Just go buy it. You'll be fine.
But I mean, that's like...
That's true. We don't
ever say that. We don't ever say that. And so, very rarely, this is probably easily a pedal that if you buy... If you're looking for that kind of light to medium overdrive, this is one that's going to make...
We don't think you'll have regrets.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, you can edit it out or just keep it. But I think it might be one of Nick's favorite pedals that he built. So just like Jamie Stillman was the speaker cranker, like if the guy who builds pedals, this is one of his favorite. I mean, come on, like what else do you need?
You said it was his favorite.
Yeah. What other endorsement do you need? You don't need 2 endorsements from these 2 knuckleheads. Just like if the guy who builds it, it's his favorite and it's so popular, there's something to it.
Right. It's like the people that don't read Harry Potter because everybody loves it. Well, I'm not going to read that because everybody loves it. It must not be any good.
Yeah.
It's the Harry Potter.
First Harry Potter reference ever in 2 years.
3.
3. Look at that.
All right. Well, with that, anything else?
I can't top Harry Potter. Sorry. I can't do it.
No. So what house would this pedal be in? Never mind.
An owl delivered this pedal just hours ago.
Always take a minute. Thank you for subscribing, hitting the like button, clicking notification bell. Anytime you interact with the show, it helps us out, like Pat said in the beginning. Website down below. All the series and stuff are there. You can find some pedals that we're moving to make room to get some money to get some other pedals in. That's how we do it. So I guess with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.